Hi, everyone. It's Gail Scott again, and I'm excited to bring you this message from my guides that just came in. So, what if everything that we're going through right now was actually predestined? The Bar Council are an 8-dimensional council, and they have brought in many, many messages that you can listen to on my website, on my channeling page, and also read the transcripts on my blog page. But they came in not long ago to say that this evolution of our planet, this evolution of our species, is something that has been in the works for a very, very long time. So what does that mean, predestined or in the works? How does that work? So they're telling me that take you back to the Garden of Eden story. And basically there's Adam and Eve, the snake and the apple, and they're all living in their idyllic situation. However, it was inevitable that change would happen in that circumstances. And they're saying that the reason why that happened is because it's the essence of our universe to evolve. It's the essence of humanity, of us, to shift and morph and change and grow. And in fact, it's the essence of all energetic forms to create and recreate itself. In fact, that is the essence of Source. And that is one of the reasons why Source decided to create, to play, and to have fun, and to learn about itself and to learn about what it would be like to experience all different kinds of experiences. And so this is also true of our planet, of Gaia. And so we are the species, one of the species that live on this planet. And so we are evolving, as is everything that is known and unknown. Everything evolves and grows and transmutes and changes constantly. So just as in the Garden of Eden, um, Adam and Eve had to move out of that space and into something different, so are we. It's the very same situation. So what they're telling me is that change is a very normal circumstance for us. And when we get too comfortable, of course, we don't like change. But change is really what helps us to expand and move into dynamic states of being where we can be even better than we know that we are in any other moment. So just as Adam and Eve had to change and Earth had to change at that time, this is exactly what's happening right now. We as a planet, as a species, you as an individual, you're being asked to go with this discomfort. You're being asked to move forward in a way that you have uncertainty. You don't know what it's going to look like. And none of us do, because we're making decisions on a day-to-day basis in our present moment that is actually creating the future that we're moving into. And so just as Adam and Eve had no idea in the Garden of Eden of what was going to happen when they took the risks that they took, we are in exactly the same situation. They only knew what they knew at that time. They knew the feelings they were having. They knew the environment that they were living in. They thought it was perfect. And then all of a sudden, things change when you make decisions and you take action. And they didn't have a level of consciousness prior to the eating of the apple in that story. And so that's the same with us. We have, had a very lower, darker level of vibrational energy within ourselves for a very, very long time. And now that is all changing. And, even in the Garden of Eden, it wasn't idyllic. And here we are now on planet Earth, and it's still not idyllic for most of us. But the idea is that they didn't have an increased level of consciousness to be able to know of what was possible. And we are in a very, very similar situation, most of us not having access to the possibilities of what are coming. But for some of us, like myself, I do have access to other energies that can see the timelines and can see what's possible and can bring us hope and can tell us how different it can be. And they also give us guides on exactly what to do in order to come to a place where it's, a little easier to live. And so here we are on planet Earth going through this massive, massive transformation. And I want you to think about now, as a human being, what kind of transformation you go through. You're born, you're a baby, you're very dependent on your family, and then you move into being a toddler where you start to explore, and then a child, and you go to school and you start to learn. Then you move into pre-adolescence, and then adolescence, and everything that goes with that before eventually you become an adult. And of course, that varies depending on your life as to when you would consider yourself to be adult. And so this is the same for us as a species in general. So you know what it's like to do it just as one person. So I want you to think now about what is actually happening for us as a species, as humanity, as a consciousness, as a community on this planet, who is also going through her own transmutation and up leveling in consciousness as she receives light from the universe and from the galaxies. And so we are moving forward with her if we choose to. And so this is another evolution of Gaia, another evolution of humanity on this planet, in this solar system at this time. And we're maturing. We are maturing into a more aware version of ourselves as a species and also as individuals, right? And there are growing pains. If you're a parent or an uncle or an aunt or a godfather or godmother or grandparent, you know what it's like for children to grow. And we, for all of us who are in the personal development world, we know what it's like to change and evolve and move through things and change our patterns. And it's not a quick fix. It's not something that just happens instantaneously. So why am I bringing this message to you? Why is it important today that you know this? Well, think about that poor teenager who's dealing with hormonal shifts and emotional state changes and new awarenesses of who they are, what they want, what's important to them. And what I'm offering to you in this transcription about what I brought through from the Bar Council is that you're doing the very same thing. You are maturing as a human being, as a consciousness, into a place where you get to decide as well. Who are you? What do you want? What's important to you? Who are you evolving into? And this is not just at the mental level. This is not just in your head. It's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. It's at every level of your being, and biological as well, because as your consciousness raises, so the energy level in your body raises too. And so you become lighter and freer, actually, once you move into that place. But you have to really be gentle with yourself as you transition through this time, because some of these transitions are freaking hard, to be honest. They're emotional, they are upsetting, they're confusing, we don't know what's happening. Doesn't that kind of sound like what we're going through on our planet right now? It's all of those things and more. And we're doing it not just individually, but we're doing it as a collective, and we're doing it as a planet. And so here we are in the midst of this, what seems to be turmoil and chaos. And you'd think it was a new experience. You'd think it was something you'd never done before, but I'm here to tell you that many of you on the planet, if not all of you, as souls, have had these kinds of experiences before. You just don't remember them, because that's what happens when we come onto planet Earth in this kind of an incarnation at this time. We're not given those memories of difficult situations that we've gone through in previous incarnations. So I want you to hold fast to the idea that you've actually got what it takes You have got it within yourself to be able to get through these difficult times. But you have to really be gentle with yourself because it's not easy. And so there are some recommendations that have come through, not just from the Bar Council, but from all of the collectives that I channel. And basically, it's always the same message. And it's about loving self-care. It's about getting into a place of peace, if you can, based on whatever you're going through. And that means using your own tools and um, sources that really assist you, whether it's sitting down and having a cup of tea just in a quiet moment, or whether it's just going for a walk after dinner, or whether it's going out and going fishing where you're out in nature, or going for a hike, or even just sitting at the beach. So water, trees, mountains, really anything that brings you calm and peace. Even plants, pets, your children, and these kinds of experiences, the more emotionally invested you can feel good about these situations, the calmer you are going to be, the more you're going to be in your heart. And so what they're recommending is that you get out of your head, get out of trying to figure it all out, because that is going into the future. And you can't. You literally cannot figure it all out. And you don't want to anyway, because that takes away all the surprise and all of the joy that comes with new possibilities that are going to come forward for you. And it's going to be different for everyone. Everyone's life is going to be changed in a different way. Now, they're also recommending to me that you find some time to really be quiet within yourself. And that doesn't mean that you're sitting in your head trying to figure it all out. What it means is that you are breathing really deeply. You are meditating. You are lying in a bubble bath. You are standing in a hot shower. These are really simple solutions that will, one, get you back into your body, because that's really where a lot of your intelligence lies, and out of your head and into your heart. And when you can be heart-centered and feeling calm and joy and gratitude, then all of these other changes that are just swarming on around us, they're not going to impact you nearly as badly as they might if you allow your head to run off with itself. So they also have mentioned that we do, as a humanity, have a tendency to use some things that do not help us to feel better. And it's very important that we be grounded in this experience that we're going through. And using things like alcohol, high sugar diet, processed food, anything that alters you physically or psychologically from a negative perspective is really not good for you at this point. It's not doing you any good. In fact, it's a disservice to you. So what you want to be doing is, if you are going to eat something organic, eat something fresh, eat something good for you, drink clean water, eat and consume things that you know that are a very high vibration. Using organic products. And it's really a choice. I know it's a choice. I know there's different, values attached to doing those kinds of things, but the more that you can be in a clean space, breathing, eating, drinking, sleeping, all of those things are going to really be able to calm you down, to be able to deal with all of this transition that we're going through. So they seem pretty simple, and it is simple, but it's not easy. And, they said to me, well, it might seem a little trite to say, fruits and vegetables are good for you, which of course we all know, we've been taught that. But doesn't that bring us back to the Garden of Eden, where it really was about nourishment? And so reminding us that these organic, nourishing sources, they're not just good for you physically, but they are very good for you spiritually, and they will nourish your soul. They will raise your consciousness level. They're the best source of nourishment for you. And it's not a quick fix. So anyone who's shifting out of a diet that doesn't work for their body and creates, symptoms that are unpleasant, it's going to take some time in order to feel a little better as that stuff detoxes out of you. And it's the very same thing. And it's not going to assist you if you continue to do that. And I'm not here to preach or tell you what to eat or how to live. I'm just bringing the message from them that they're telling us that the ascension process, which is elevating your consciousness and moving into your heart energy, is easier if you choose to consume things that are good for you. That's pretty much the basic message that they're bringing me. And so that is the ascension process that Adam and Eve also went through when their level of awareness was raised and their consciousness went up. And of course, we know what happened with that. That was a completely different time frame. It was a completely different level of consciousness. It was a totally different experience. And what we're having right now is unique to us and not something that we've ever experienced before in this way. We have experienced these kinds of difficulties before. So you do have what it takes to get through this. And I'm sure if you just go back through your life, you will find circumstances that have been challenging. And I want you to think about those times and draw on the strengths that you had back then. What did you do back then that helped you to get through that difficult time? And you can use that experience to assist you with what's happening right now. So we're all doing this. We're all moving out of this darkness and into light, into greater light. And that light can really help you. It's a new level of light on Gaia, on Mother Earth. It's not something she's had before, and it's not something we've had before. So use light-filled experiences to assist you. Being out in nature, being in sunshine, peaceful situations, drinking clean water, and really replenish your own energy with clean, loving, gentle, self-care filled actions. So yes, it is tough. There's no doubt about it. It is tough right now. But I know, and you know, that you can get through this. If you've enjoyed this message, please subscribe to my video because I have a lot more information to bring to you. If you would like to receive the actual audio transmission of the channeling, then please go to my website at bozieinternational.com and go to the channeling page, and you will find all of my previous channelings right there for you to listen to. If you prefer to read them, please go to my blog page and you will find the transcript there as well. These videos are an opportunity for me to bring you an explanation of the kinds of messages that I have coming in. And there are more and more coming in from all different groups in the galaxies that are here to assist us. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next time.